Hey guys, my name is Ruben and in this video we're going to go over everything you need to know if you're just getting started on Thinkorswim after just downloading the platform and trading stocks, futures, forex, or options. And so the first thing we're going to see here is this platform, and I just want to remind everyone, nothing I say is a buy, sell, or hold recommendation. You can lose all or more of your capital trading, investing in the markets. This is simply for education and entertainment purposes only. And if you are interested in trading and investment content, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and we go over a lot of live markets, current market conditions, platforms, and all things trading and investing. So with that said, the first thing we're going to see here is the account sizing. This is a freshly downloaded simulated account to walk through the inception process with you guys. And so oftentimes you will see here a different option buying power than you will net liquid or something like that. And that is because oftentimes it'll show you how much you have in pending deposits coming in, or it'll show you how much leverage you have to trade and invest in the markets and not actually your cash. So oftentimes you can see a 2-to-1 or a 4-to-1 depending on your account size. And then you're going to go ahead and see live news, trade, watch list. So the first thing we're going to go over is how to switch these gears, right? Or how to switch these gadgets. So the first thing is, if you want to, for example, trade the Forex market, something that you can consider putting on there is go ahead and clicking a switch gadget by hovering over this line action menu in line with live news in the darker bar, and click switch gadget. From that point, we're going to go ahead and put on their FX currency map if you are a Forex trader. And so the next thing you see here is the live TV. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute my screen, and basically you can go ahead and click play, and you will see the current market overview and people talking about the markets. You can listen to it in the background or what have you. And of course, you can always also switch those gears or delete the gadget entirely. So then the next thing we're gonna have here is a watch list, and you will notice a symbol link, and this one says number 2. If we click on that, you will see unlink, and then you will see 1 through 9. And basically that is a way to synchronize everything you're looking at that is associated to the same link. So the first thing we're going to do is click over right here under symbol and type in AAPL for Apple. And so we will see it populate. At that point, we see the net change, the bid, and the ask. And if we want to change those settings, we hit over here in the really small gear next to ask, and we can go ahead and remove or add available items. So I'm going to go ahead and remove bid. I'm going to remove ask, because all I want to really see for the purposes here personally is just the last price. And we're going to go over what the bid and ask is very briefly in a different window. So I'm going to go ahead and add that percentage change, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my favorites: QQQ, Neo, some metals, so SLV, GLD, and so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like that. And so here you can see that this is synchronized here with the yellow, and so I'm gonna go ahead and hit QQQ, and you will see them synchronized. If we want to break that off, we can hit unlink, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch this gadget, and I will go ahead and do a live news, and this one will show us what that is in terms of title and story. And so I'm going to go ahead and resize a lot of these, and then you can obviously add TSLA and all that. You can resize by hovering and dragging that down. So now we're going to go over where you're going to spend most of your time, which is monitor, trade, analyze, scan, market watch, and basically this upper row right here. The first thing is you're going to see monitor, and so here you have working orders, field orders, canceled orders, and rolling positions. This might not be super relevant right now, but we are going to circle back to this here in a little bit. And so next you're going to see trade, and so this is probably one of the most popular tabs. And so if we go ahead and click here, you see a number 1. So is synchronized to number one, which is no other active chain at the moment. So if we click AAPL, you will see Apple, and then you will see the options chain. And so if you're not looking to trade options, you can go ahead and just close this, and we'll do an options chain or an options tutorial setup on a different video. But something that is cool about this screen, if you are going to look at the options chain, is that you can go ahead and click on trade grid, and basically we can go ahead and for these this tutorial, I'm going to synchronize them all to that yellow. And so the first thing that's going to populate is level 2, which if you're new to trading, it's something that you may not need right away. So I am going to do a hack here and click 9, and I will show you guys why, because I'm going to hover here between the division lines, and I'm going to drag this down, and then I'm going to drag this down again for the second set, and then drag them down. The reason I did this is because if you do want to look at the charts later for possibly the options chain, you can go ahead and you see here the TRD, which is trade, and then time and sells, active trader, buttons, and what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and click off of level 2, and I will go ahead and click chart. Because these are already synchronized, if I want to open or extend a chart, I can go ahead and drag over this and maximize or minimize, and I will do the same across the board. And the reason for doing so is because a lot of traders, more often than not, will look at multiple time frames when they are trading, and then you can kind of synchronize them. Here, the 5-minute, and then the hourly. And I will go over this in more detail on the appropriate screen for this, in my opinion, the much more appropriate screen. But you can kind of go ahead and see that. And we're going to talk about how to use this a little bit more in detail later. But you can go ahead and click on that. And then if you click here, the last is the trading price. And then the net change here is in dollars. And then you see the bid and the ask. And this is where I will go over the difference if you're a little bit newer. The bid, if you're looking to buy, is always going to be the more favorable price, here being 44497, while the ask is 44518. And the reason why the ask is higher is because a lot of times if you want to buy at market, which basically means you buy instantaneously, you will get filled oftentimes at the higher price if you're buying. So you'll get filled against yourself or against the direction you're going by a few pennies because of the spread. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and now go to analyze. And so here on analyze, you can go ahead and add simulated trades. Also, if you click on this across the board, you will be able to see recent, so the recent things that we added, Apple, Amazon, all of those positions and what have you. And so that's again a lot more commonly used for options. And so then we see scan, in which you can kind of set a general scan for parameters. For example, net change, minimum, let's say $1. And then if you hit scan, you will see a lot of that here. And so then the charts is where you're going to spend most of your time. So here next to Market Watch, the first thing we see is the charts. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I will go ahead and show you guys how to use the active trader. It's personally my favorite thing about Thinkorswim, because you can drag them and adjust them, your entry, and drag your entry and your targets and stops accordingly if you're a very active trader. And so the first thing I'm going to do after adding this and how to place an order on this is I'm going to go ahead and click on this customize gear and click customize, and I will remove the volume because I don't personally use it, but you can add or take away as you please here with current sets and then available items. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I will then drag the price to be fully visible, and then I will minimize or drag this chart to be able to pull it in and see further. You can hover right here where the timestamps are, and you can basically with your mouse pad go back and forth and extend it, and the same here on this axis. And so something that we're going to do first and foremost is something that you guys might commonly want to do is how to place a price line And so I'm going to go ahead and click add drawing, and here you have a lot of your tools as a trader. And I'm going to go ahead and click here with the price level and place it here. Now I'm going to hover over it and double click or left click and edit properties. And here you will see the extension on or off. And then if I want to say, for example, I want to buy here, I'm going to go ahead and change this to green under color. And then you can go ahead and customize whether or not you want to see the price. So we can go ahead and put it on the left or the right. So I'm going to go ahead and click show price, and we can title it small time frame demand. And we can show the title or not show it. And so show name, yes or no. And so with that said, I am going to go ahead and click OK. And if we want this to extend, again, edit properties, and we can put the extension on and click OK. Now, if we want to have an alarm to notify us whenever price comes there, we're going to go ahead and click create alert. And we can modify where we want to create the alert here manually. So we can do 4 or 1 and click add or above or below. And you'll usually get a text messages or email, and you will see that here. Notify me with the bell, and you can go ahead and click create. And then you can drag the notifications and the price accordingly by hovering over them and dragging them. So now I'm going to show you guys here, if I want to get in at 441.66, for example, I can go ahead and click on this active trader and basically drag this place, and then we can go ahead and click on active trader and drag this and maybe put a buy order. So another thing that I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and click on this gear and customize this gear, and I want to have the quantity with buttons. And the reason for doing so is here, and I'm going to drag it to the current set above the second line. Click OK, because I want to have a default setting of how many shares I want to buy and be able to do that accordingly. Because here, if I do 300, for example, I can drag this down, click buy here at 443.99, click send, and then I can put a stop loss, let's say here at 443.70. And we can actually drag them by clicking over that and moving them accordingly, which I really like about Active Trader and this feature. However, be mindful that there's 2 ways to enter an order: good till cancel and for the day. So if you want to have this, as I said, a good till cancel, go to monitor, working orders, and then change this to replace order. And then you will see this populate right here. And there's another easier way of actually doing this that I will also show. And you can go ahead and click from day to good till cancel. And what this basically means is that if you set this order for the day, after the trading day is over, the order will disappear. If you have good till cancel, it'll basically be there until you cancel the order. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete, but you can confirm and send. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys now how to cancel an order, which we double click here over day, for example, and click cancel order and cancel order. And so going back to trade here in the next change, if you click on bid, oftentimes you will see the sell price, because, well, oftentimes it'll populate backwards because it's going to want to fill you quicker. But that can be changed to buy, and then you will see stock, and then you will see the limit price. So if you want to do it this way, by basically buying or selling by clicking here on the bid or buy at the ask, you will be able to always be able to come down here and change them. And then you will be able to also modify it here at 442, and you can say day or good till cancel, confirm and send. And so instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and double click here and click buy custom, because we're going to buy it with a stop, entry, and a target. And so here you will see limit. And if you're buying, the limit will be the price which you are willing to buy it at. So we can set this to 440. 440. And if it's a limit price, you basically will not get filled until the price is that or better, and go to cancel. And I'm going to change all of these obviously as go to cancel. The limit here price as it'll show limit opposing to what your entry. So if your entry is green because you're going long, the limit in red will be your target. So, and it will also populate as a price slightly higher as your current price to kind of indicate that that is what it's there for. And I'm going to do, let's say 500. And I'm going to do the stop at 420. And I'm going to go ahead and click confirm and send. And then you will actually see these bracket orders right here, which is, again, pretty cool. And if we want to modify those, we can modify them here as well. And then you'll get a confirmation to asking if it is okay to modify. And something else that's worth noting right here with the active trader is that you can minimize these by basically, instead of being a here, for example, a 50-cent difference from one price to the next. And if you maximize it, it'll come lower and lower until you have a 1 penny difference in between intervals. And so that's another cool feature here. And so something that I also like about this is that obviously if you want to trade multiple time frames, you can do it by hovering up here and doing, for example, 4 charts. And each one of these is an entire unit, but we're going to go ahead and go back to 1, and we're going to use flexible grid. And the cool thing about flexible grid is that you can really customize it however you want, and you can link them all together again. So like I showed you guys before, by simply pressing the same yellow. And so you can also then remove or customize it accordingly. So for example, you will see under customized grid, add below, add to the side, or cancel. So if I click here, cancel this one, then this all becomes elongated. And so then if I want to have, for example, 1 long chart and then 2 on this side, smaller ones, I can cancel this one too, and then add 1 below and synchronize them again accordingly. At this point, we can also add active trader. And once again, remove the volume because in my opinion, it takes too much space and I don't really use it. So customize, remove volume. Okay. And then we can adjust the orders, right? And so another thing about this is that we can also flatten from here or cancel all, which is really cool. And sometimes depending on how quickly you are trading or what time frame you are trading, that can be very, very useful. And so I showed you guys how to drag and how to minimize these, not just with the by dragging these right or left, the different axes, the X and Y axis, but you can also do it by zooming in and zooming out. Another thing that you might find helpful is that these all actually can be switched as to what your mouse will do when it hovers. And by doing so, you can basically click here and it'll be different things. So for example, this one can act like a hand in moving the chart wherever you want by simply clicking the hand, for example. And so if we want to then have and solidify our chart looking like this, we can go ahead and uncheck customize grid, and we can also save the flexible grid as, and you can name it whatever you want and save this layout. And so something else that I want to show you guys just really quickly, because a lot of times we see the platforms and how nice they are and we really want it to look somewhat to what it's being showcased to us. So I'm going to show you guys how to modify the chart so it looks a lot more like it does on the Thinkorswim ads, right? So we can go under here under the gear button with the apple and then click on appearance, and then here under background we can basically customize it and we can have it blue. Click OK. We can fill the candles, or we can just leave the borders by clicking or unclicking these. Okay. And so very quickly, I guess I'll go over options just a little bit in this video. And so we're going to go back into trade. And so here, if you want to look at all the strike prices, they will be listed here. By default, I believe you see 8, but if you want to see all, you can click all and extend these. And then if you would like to customize these, you can also click over the options chain where it says layout, last X, net change, and you can customize it, and you can add things like open interest and all of that on here. And so we're going to add open interest and maybe delta. Add items. Okay. And then you will see those populate. And so another quick thing about options here is that you can buy custom with bracket, and you can also set the bracket individually with a limit, a target, and a stop within the options, which I think is really cool. And you would do that just as you would with a regular a regular stock, for example. And so here you see the 180 strike would cost a lot of the break-even price, and so then you can actually trade the derivatives as simply as you could the actual stock in this fashion. You can also go ahead and double click and click and hover over buy, and then you will see single or vertical. If you want to do a vertical debit spread or put spread or call, what have you, you can do it that way. And then a lot of this you can also click analyze trade. So here, clicking analyze trade, it will automatically take you to this analysis window that we saw earlier, probability analysis. And so you can kind of see how the different scenarios would play out if you remove one vertical, or if you remove even a specific leg, which again, because you already kind of set vertical, that would be not the most conducive way of doing it. But you basically see all of those things here. And if you want to cancel an order, you double click, cancel. And you can obviously also cancel and replace. So you can do, this is by market, so you have to be careful with that. If you click on this button, it'll buy at the market, which will be instantaneously. Something that I guess is worthwhile going over is over setup, application settings. You can set order defaults. So you can set default to be limit. You can set options, same. You can do a lot of the Forex, for example. The defaults can be 20K or 100 or what have you. And another thing for charting that I do want to go over, if you are trading Forex, is actually really important, is here in settings, you will see equities, options, futures. In Forex, it's important to know that the bid and the ask will be quite different. So for example, the bid and the ask will be quite different. And so a lot of times, if you're trading the smaller time frames with Forex or have tight stops, this is what might be killing you, even though your analysis looks accurate. And so be careful with that, specifically to Forex more than anything. So with that said, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, if you're interested in a lot more content like this or learning more how to trade, you can subscribe to this channel. And in the links below, you will also see a lot of other education the tools, any links, or you can contact me in the links down below. And so with that said, guys, I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys next time.